Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of It Depends, I Guess. I'm Caroline.
I'm Jackie.
And at the back we have
DJ.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode.
Yes.
If this is your first time joining us, this is a podcast that we just explore thoughts, perceptions, and our lived experiences. Mm-hmm. We have a general conversation that we actually take offline and bring it
online.
Yes. Yes. Part of this podcast is our lived experiences. Mm-hmm. We question things. Mm-hmm. We have philosophical discussions.
Yes.
And we love it when you give us feedback.
Yeah,
so we've been taking in your feedback and incorporating it in our episodes as we go along. And welcome back to today's topic.
Yes.
Which is
Fortities.
Fortities.
Should I say what energy? Fortities.
Fortities. No, it should be Fortities.
Yeah.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly of Fortities.
Yes.
And
yes.
If this is your first time hearing that word, if you're new to the podcast, Jackie, can you tell us what Fortities is all about?
Fortities, to be fair, came up with as a way to express all the random things that come with being 40. Yeah, random. You wake up with your back is paining.
Yes.
You sneeze and you pull a muscle.
Yes.
Like all those things. Those beautiful, wonderful things that come with aging and the 40s specifically.
Yes.
Yes.
So we will be exploring what Fortities, all aspects of Fortities.
Yes.
But before we move on to our topic, what caught your internet, your eye on the internet this week?
So this, actually, to be fair, it happened a few weeks ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. Good thing it's not a pop culture podcast because I'd be the person talking about, you know what happened? It was 4 months ago. But anyway, there's this artist called Mandy. She's a Kenyan artist. I love what she does. I love her whole philosophy. I love everything about her. She just doesn't give a shit.
Yes.
And it's just expressing her artistic ways and her movement is growing. Like she's getting more and more fans.
Yeah.
Really talented as well.
Yeah.
And I'd seen someone in her comments had said that, if only you were lighter, you'd be a bit more beautiful.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You mean people still think that way?
Yes.
It's 2024, the year of the Lord.
Yes.
What?
On this Beyonce's internet. Yes.
On Beyonce's internet. I thought we changed all this.
Oh, no. And I mean, it made me sad because, again, I'd always thought that we have changed. We have grown in some ways.
Yes.
Growing up as kids, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Watching ads on TV.
Yeah.
First of all, the kind of TV came, I saw a TV, maybe I was 8 or 9.
Yes.
In the beginning, a lot of content was foreign content.
Yes.
But when I started developing our own content and like ads and things like that, 99% of the ads on TV were light-skinned women.
Yes.
And this is when it was reflected in like music videos for a long time, etc.
Yes.
And then over time, there's just been this growth and like a more diverse presentation of what Africans or Kenyans look like.
Yes.
So I don't know. Honestly, I thought we were progressing. And then I see this comment, and to be fair, she dealt with it really well.
Yeah.
And
what was her response?
I think she basically just was like, no, we all come in the way we look, like kind of fuck off.
Yeah.
But it's just it's annoying that that's something that we still have to see.
Yeah.
And as much as people like to say, oh yeah, people have more guts, it's just bots or haters or whatever.
Yeah.
Other people still think this way. Other people still, then have the expectations to be that, your ideal woman is like a light-skinned woman or whatever. I'm like, it's very, very disappointing.
It's quite disappointing.
Super disappointing. But either way, I love her content. And I like that she continues to, and also she's not, now we live in a time where body sizes, a good body looks a specific way. Mandy is just Mandy. She's curvy. She puts herself out as this is what I am.
Yeah.
We are not going to be like, she reminds me of, she's called No Ordinary, she's called Acheng, the one who always says.
Yes, Acheng.
She's like, when you're taking a picture, she's like, let that belly out, stop holding it in.
Yes.
I feel like Mandy is kind of on the same kind of the same sphere.
Yeah.
And she reminds me of someone once said this statement that sometimes activism is not like you have to always clap back or you hold.
That's true.
Just showing up and being
Yes.
is a form of activism.
Yes,
and I
yes.
think Mandy like embodies that so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
Kudos to her.
love her.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing.
But it's quite sad that that rhetoric
Yeah.
still stands even
Yeah.
up to now.
Yeah.
I think Lupita also went through something like that within the industry. I've seen the industry change actually.
Yeah.
And what comes into mind is around 2015, I think also, when we started seeing music videos of actually women who are not light skinned
Yes.
start to dwindle.
Yeah.
And we had more representation in terms of color.
Yes.
Like even up to today, I am amazed by the music videos that are coming from our
drastically changed.
Drastically
where like
changed.
the lead video girl
Yes,
is
yes.
like a beautiful dark-skinned
yes.
woman who's not
Yes.
necessarily like like flat belly and
Yes.
big hips. And
Yes.
No, it's just whatever.
and
It's
that
just
curly long hair. Like there's
beautiful. Yes.
shout
Oh,
out
yeah.
to, yeah. There's always that look that was in the music videos
was a
pre
look.
2015, I think.
Yes.
And a good shout out to Sauti So for
Yeah.
the melanin.
Oh, I remember that
Yes,
video.
yes.
Still love
Yeah,
it. Still
lots
love
of
it.
melanin. And okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What caught your eye?
In this world of internet
Mm-hmm.
and me being on TikTok,
That has to be.
I came around, I found a name that sort of drew my curiosity, which is something called 4B movement. So I went down a rabbit hole. Yes. So I didn't know what it was until I started digging around and I actually found it's a feminist movement that originated in South Korea in 2019. And this movement is actually fighting patriarchy systems in South Korea in a different way. So the B stands for, I think, some words in Korean, but it stands for no sex with men, no childbearing, no dating men, and no marriage to men. So they're fighting patriarchal systems by opting out of heterosexual relationships.
Completely.
Completely.
In all its facets.
In all its facets.
Jeez.
Everything, yes. So I don't know why it's suddenly come up into my For You page.
Yeah.
And they sort of, either maybe I've fed that algorithm. Watch out the algorithm.
Or someone is feeding you the algorithm.
Somebody is feeding me the algorithm. Or somebody had us talk about us having communal, aging in a community.
In a
commune.
In a
Putting
commune.
together a commune.
Coming would be a vibe, I'm telling you. It'd be a good thing.
And they're like, maybe we should start something like that. But no, we have no hate for men and we love our men.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've come quite far when it comes to patriarchal systems.
Yeah.
In our own country, we are not yet there. We can't even come close to that.
No.
But I feel like we have big movements in
I
Kenya.
feel like we're moving. I think I really do think, and I in different spaces, I hear even one of our friends who's Ugandan
Yeah.
often says like, no, you guys in Kenya, you guys are still like, you guys are so far ahead of where we're at with the feminist movement.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, it does feel like we're still so far.
Yes.
But every day I see like, we're making a small step towards equity and equality.
Yeah. So that's caught my eye this week and I learned something new all the way from South Korea.
Yeah. I'm going to go create a new email just to go look for that.
Otherwise you'll be fed the same content.
I don't want to. These days I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Especially on certain platforms, if I search for something, everything ruined. No, I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
DJ.
And DJ.
Yeah.
Anything caught your eye this week on the internet?
Did
in
he
the
do
world.
it?
Did
my
it? Oh.
Did he do it?
Well,
All this other stuff you're talking about is cool, but it's all about if he did it or didn't he.
Did he do it?
Was it did he?
Me, I have a vote. I have a vote.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
I have.
I'll wait for the verdict and see.
Absolutely.
What's your verdict? What's your hunch? What do you think?
I don't know. Like I'm listening to so many different sides of the argument and I'm just caught in a place where
Yes.
I'm just waiting to see what everyone else thinks. And then once I have all the information and the court case goes through and whether they find something or not in his house,
Yeah.
then we can judge from there. But then again, who knows what's going on in the background.
I think there's been too much smoke
Yes.
for there not to be.
Yes.
From Cassie's, because I read Cassie's like what do you call it? Accusations against him.
Yeah.
Some of those things, like the detail to which it went, and then also I don't know if you know Aubrey O'Day. She used to be part of Danity Kane. Remember they're making the band. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Diddy's show, and he put together these girls and Danity Kane.
Yeah.
One of them, Aubrey O'Day, has always spoken about how Diddy was hell inappropriate in so many ways. She's like always spoken about it. And then also just in general, the industry, there's always been mumblings about his activities and his ways that I honestly don't think it can just be mumblings for years and there's like just nothing.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, there's just been too much smoke.
Yeah. And there are 4 court cases filed. Is it?
Oh, there's 4?
I think there are 4. I read something it's 4.
Yeah.
And then they raided his home. I don't know.
Yeah.
What were they raiding the home for? Maybe there was some...
I think they believed there was something in the home that could incriminate him. So that's why they... And normally whenever they go in like that, they go in like that knowing the case is already done.
Is already done.
This is just...
It's just an indication that
listen, we're on the way to you. And
it's just a few...
Pack up and either go and join Russell Simmons or...
in Bali.
But interesting enough, I think I was watching CNN the other day and it caught my eye that somebody was actually monitoring his private jet just to see whether it leaks because they thought he was going to run for it.
Funny. Yeah.
He was going to run
that's
for
true.
it.
I actually find that's a fascinating. There's people who monitor private jets for like private jets for different celebrities.
Yes.
And I think at some point they were monitoring like Taylor Swift's jet, and I think authorities had to tell them like chill, just relax and stuff it, because I think also now celebrities are feeling like people just know our movements all the time and. I mean, I guess
with the private jets as well, you can't trust that because those private jets, whenever they are parked, it's costing you so much money.
Yes.
So they lease them out while they're... So someone else could be looking. So it just pays for itself.
Oh, that's a good point.
So when you want to use it, you can just call upon it and then it's there for you. But everyone else is using it as well.
Yeah. So it can't be a reliable source of where he is. Okay.
Yeah.
So did he...
and on the Diddy thing, the other thing, I'm just annoyed this week, is this whole movement of bringing down another black man. If the man did it, he needs to go through the consequences of his actions.
Yes.
You can't just be blanket like, just this whole protect black men thing can't be blanket rule that even people who are doing wrong are somehow exceptional to the rule. No, if the man did something terrible, let him go through the consequences. And also it's very disheartening because there's victims of people who've gone through terrible shit in his hands. So when people like this, if I'm a victim and I'm seeing people online just being like, oh no, protect the black man, and it's like, no, but that person has affected my life. So
what about me?
So
and there's always the trickle effect of it's not just that one person affected, their families, their kids. It's a larger group, and you're trying to protect one man.
That's been impacted. So this whole protect a black man movement,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Find the right black men to protect. If people out here doing shady shit, they need to be out here. And I think it's also a good reckoning for the industry. Because I know probably there's people shaking their boots because I don't think hip hop has ever been, really the Me Too movement was very Hollywood. I've not seen it touch on
that part
this
of the
industry.
world,
Yes, so I know there's other people who are shaking in their boots because they're like, oh,
they're coming
if they
for
catch
us.
him.
I saw just to end that conversation there. I saw I think it was Asher who was talking about what used to happen in the 90s and what used to happen in Diddy's house. Like there is a lot that happened. And I guess that is pre-social media and pre-everybody having a camera. So you never know, other than Diddy, who else was in that crew.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot
if
that
you've
happened.
had people,
they'll come
there's going to be consequences. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, switching over to our topic of the day, which is Fortities,
the good,
the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. Actually, all of us, well, not all of us here. 2 of us are in our 40s.
Yes, we are.
And one is just knocking on heaven's door.
I'm glad you find it funny.
Countdown to 40.
Countdown to 40.
Yes.
Welcome to the club with open arms.
Yes.
Our arms can be too open. We might break them. How this body goes. Yes.
Yes.
So let's start with,
we're starting with the
ugly.
We're starting with the ugly, and then we go up to
and end
the
with
good,
the good.
because we love a good ending.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Happy ending. Okay.
Okay. So to start off, the ugly part's about 40, and I turned 40 a while ago. Not really a while ago.
No,
Let me
it's
not
not
tell
that.
my
No,
age, but I'm 40.
Yes.
The ugly part of it is the societal expectations of what a person is expected to be and where they should be at 40. And I want us to just sort of explore our experiences of that. Yeah. What we've had, what we've been told.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. So at least from, well, as a Kenyan African woman,
Yes.
at 40, we need to have everything needs to have been tied well in a neat bow together.
Yes.
You should have finished having the kids.
Yes.
And ideally, they should be in their teens.
Yes.
Or tweens.
Yes.
Or whatever age.
Yes.
Yeah, like young. Not too young. No, you finished having them at, maybe now you're having us.
Maybe 35 you should have finished. Now
So now your youngest should be at least over 5, right?
Yes.
And then also of course you should have been married. Went in the wrong order. Should have been married. This is talking about African societal expectations.
Let's start it correctly.
Let's start it correctly.
You should have been married by 25.
Yes, so you should have been married. You've had the kids.
Yes.
Somehow gone back to work and still kicking ass in your career.
Yes.
You, as a family, you should have, or had all the investments should have been made by now.
Yes.
So you should have had the house and the car.
Yes.
And everything is just great. And
Yes.
So the idea of the family unit should all be formed and like well structured.
Yes.
By now.
And also even into religious perspective of what's expectation of 40. I don't know at what age, like you're actually welcomed into certain parts of the church.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, like the Mother's Guild, Mother's Union.
all those.
Yes. Yeah,
So-
that's true. Which if you're not a mother, you ain't welcome.
If you've not been married, you're not a mother.
Again, I'm going in the wrong order. You should be married, then a mother.
And then a mother, you probably will not even access those parts of church.
Church.
Yeah. So the societal expectations, I don't know whether you've had any pushed on you or have had somebody who's
Have I? To be fair, yes.
Yeah.
And it's been pushed for such a long time. I think right now, I don't know if my mother is watching this podcast.
Yeah.
At this point, there's the one where it's like overtly pressure. Like, yes, now.
Yes.
Where are the kids? Where are they? And then it gets at an age. No, first of all, it used to be like, oh, yes, where is the husband? We're not seeing a boyfriend. We're not seeing.
Yeah.
And then that shifts to, okay, you should be, have a child, etc. And then, like for my mom, it became just have a child. You don't need to think about the man. Just have the child.
Yes.
Now it's like they start dropping the standards for you.
Yes,
You're
yes.
like, okay, no, now that marriage has
After some point, it will be, can they breathe?
that marriage has passed. So you just have the child.
Yeah.
And then it became the assumption that, you're a career woman.
Yeah.
And so it's like, just have the child.
Yeah.
And then bring the child and care for the child. You go back to your career.
Yes.
Because the assumption is that the reason you're not having the child is because it's a conscious decision to grow this career thing.
I've actually been told about that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just people being helpful.
No, there's an assumption.
There's an assumption of
truly
you're
an
too busy
assumption.
with a career.
Yes. And it's if anything, it's, I don't know if it's the opposite. It's more of, yes, I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm dating.
Yes.
I'm trying to be in the world, right? So if the dating is not working out or whatever, should I just also go tell my employer, hey, employer,
Yeah.
You wait. I need to go take a sabbatical
Yeah.
because now I can't be, because apparently this career is hindering me from getting.
Yeah.
It's not that people assume it's like a tunnel vision. It's this thing or it's this thing.
Yeah.
No, we live in a world where you're multitasking.
You juggle
You're
so
juggling.
many,
Yeah.
you're juggling so much.
All these things are happening in tandem.
Yeah.
But the assumption is that, oh no, this career is the blocker.
It's the blocker.
Yeah. And then now mine moved to start being very overt to being covert, where it's like, the brothers are told to mention to me, or it's an aunt who calls you some random day. I was just checking on you.
Yeah.
And your mother is praying for you to have a child.
Yeah.
And then this is how I knew it got really bad is 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
No. When was the pandemic? 2021.
Yeah.
I was in Kenya. And then it becomes a point where it's now random people.
Oh.
I was in an Uber and this guy was like, oh, your phone number is not Kenya. Do you not live here? I'm like, no, I don't live here. Oh, okay. So you're just here visiting. Yeah, I'm here visiting family. Oh, okay. So where is your family is back in the US? They always assume in the US or whatever.
Yeah.
Your family is in Europe or in the US. I'm like, no. My mom is here and my siblings.
Yeah.
Oh, but where are your husband and your kids? I'm like, I don't have.
Yeah.
The Uber driver said, you've not given your mother a grandchild. I said, we've gotten to a point where the stranger is out here questioning me.
Your mother's prayers have they're bouncing.
They're bouncing through the universe. People in like that year was so wild. Random people would just be. So now it's gone from that to now.
Yeah.
I think there's a prayer circle that my mother has.
Yeah.
To just pray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now it's rarely mentioned because also now I think at some point I expressed how okay, this is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So I think it's now it's quiet.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Now it's more glances. Now there's just a look. If somebody walks into the baby, they look at them and they look at you. You connect.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say my experience have not been that overly there. Like I've not had people like or even family members like tell me directly like, okay, this is time is knocking. But the same experience of I would get in a taxi. It happened to me. I got in a taxi here and I was just talking to the guy. I was going to the airport and he asked me, oh, you're going to Kenya? I was like, yeah, I'm going to Kenya. And where is your family? I was like, oh, they're in Kenya. I think the assumption was my family is my husband and the kids are in Kenya. It's like, oh, yeah, how many kids do you have? And I was like, oh, no, I mean my siblings. It's like, oh, you don't have kids. And then, okay, he was, I think, from... Egypt, I guess he was an Egyptian taxi driver, and I could sense the disappointment.
We're even disappointing strangers.
It's a disappointment. So yeah, it comes to us in so many ways, like from strangers, from family, the expectation itself. I think that's the ugliest because when people talk about that so many times, subconsciously, you start thinking about it, without even knowing. Yes.
And questioning like, am I a failure? Because you feel like,
yes,
like, and I guess even in the good will touch on it is, I'm measuring myself here in terms of, I feel like, my mental health is finally good. And, I'm measuring myself in these fluffy things.
Yes.
And then, I go home, I go for like visit family and then after a day you're like, according to this society, I'm quite the failure.
There's a different yardstick altogether.
Completely. We're not even the same.
Yes.
DJ, do you feel or get any societal pressures?
None whatsoever.
Wow.
I am good at selectively, especially even family relatives, when they ask me, I'm very short with everyone if they ask me the wrong question. I don't have to entertain, and I'm not here. The life I'm living is mine. I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't care who you are. Worse if you are disrespectful about it. I'm easy to cut off, even family. Just like that, just say, listen, this is not what I'm all about. I think we are done talking to each other, no matter who it is. So they know that at this point. I'm not looking for any advice or how things are going. Your line of questioning better be very polite.
Yes. Even strangers don't come up and ask, okay.
Listen, where's a stranger? If I'm saying I can cut off even family, and then someone, who are you to come? Nah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's really dope. Okay.
Okay.
We're referencing our notes, just so you know.
Yes, so we move on to the bad.
The bad.
Yes. Fortities, the bad. And all this, it depends, I guess.
Yeah,
It
so,
depends
I
on
mean,
the perspective.
Actually, that's very true.
Yes. All the perspective is like, there are people who will look at the ugly as a good thing because it pushes them to actually want more, maybe things they've always wanted. So
Yeah.
it also depends.
And something
Yes.
also to mention in the ugly part, I have friends who are in their 40s who have childs in a marriage, but they also say that they still experience where it's like it's never enough. You're
Yes,
still not
yes.
good enough in some aspect
Yes.
of society.
Yeah.
Right. So even that thing of the yardstick,
Yeah.
it feels like it's always just shifting.
Yes, yes.
It's never good enough still.
Yeah, yeah.
So they don't feel like, oh, I have the family and the house, so we're just settled.
Yeah.
No, they still just.
There's always that expectation.
Yeah,
Now you
there's-
have one child. Where's the second
Where's
one?
the second child?
Have
only
you built a
boys.
house? Yes, where's the girl?
Yeah,
You-
I have. It's just they're still just very.
Yeah.
It's just it's always shifting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so now to the bad. I think the bad sort of touches a little bit on the ugly, but the bad is mainly our own self-expectations.
That's a good point.
The expectations that we put
On
on
ourselves.
ourselves. And maybe I have you go first if you have any self-expectation.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I definitely have, and again, it also touches a bit on the ugly ones.
Yeah.
Because I'm also in a point of transition of trying to separate what are the things that I want for myself versus what are the things I was told I should have.
Yes.
So a lot of my right now, any kind of inner dialogue is me just trying to disassociate and really think, okay, if I feel I haven't met this
Yes.
yardstick or
Yes.
this expectation,
Yes.
is it, I'm sitting and evaluating, is it expectation something that was set for me?
Yeah.
Or is it something I truly want?
Yes.
Because I really want to also be able to sit in a point and say, okay, this I'm not doing because just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
And anyone in my life, family or whatever, who's maybe always questioning that thing, I can just be put it rest and say, you know what?
Yeah.
That's no longer a thing I want to do.
Yeah.
I made my peace with it. I suggest you make your peace with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think maybe for me, one of that is marriage. Marriage is not something that I've ever really aspired to have. I do want to have a life partner. But I don't really understand or see how the institution of marriage is something that brings value or serves me in any way.
Yeah.
Right. And this has been a tussle with my mom for a long time.
Yes.
Long time.
Yeah.
Right. I think at least that one I know right now is something I've sat down with her many times and I've said, you know what, this is not an expression I don't have it.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't mean that I want to have a life partner. I am with someone and I hope it grows into a life partnership. But I do not see how going to like have a massive wedding or whatever it is. Just I don't see how it brings any value to me.
Is this something you changed at some point in life? Why? Because I believe most people, when they talk about especially marriage and everything and the wedding itself, there's always this young girl who saw this, who had this idea. Is it something that you had to...
So interestingly, I never had that.
Yeah.
So, I know many people would talk about like, oh, in my wedding, I'll do,
Yes.
or my mom would say, because I'm the only girl also.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, we'd go for someone's wedding and they'd be like, when it's yours and and I remember not feeling the excitement that they were feeling.
Yes.
I'm like, this whole thing just, I don't understand what it's there for. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What is what is it?
Yeah.
So I don't ever think, and looking back where I saw, this excitement of like when I have a wedding, it's going to be, I've just never had that.
Yeah. So, okay.
And then it made me dig deeper into also just the institution.
Yes.
And again, I never really connected with it. I think and again, I'm very much a proponent of people need to do what works for them in life.
Yeah.
And I enjoy weddings. I will have a good time at
Dance.
weddings. Yes. And I can respect
Yeah.
if, say, you want to be in a marriage, have a wedding,
Yeah.
fully respect that.
Yeah.
But I also need people to respect that I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then also, I think the difficulty that comes with it in our society is also people will always hold you to a different standard. Because they're like, oh, and this has happened many times. People will be like, oh, but you're not married. And even if I have a partner, I'll be like, I have a partner. But then to them, they're like, that's not legitimate.
Yeah.
Us who have this thing, we're the legitimate ones. And that's the one I have to make peace with it, because sometimes
you can't change the whole society.
I can't change the whole society, and I have to be okay with.
Yeah.
Some people in society will always look at me in this way,
Yes.
or look at me and my partner in this way,
Yes.
and I just have to be okay with that without wanting to punch someone in the throat.
Yeah. The self-expectation for me is mainly where I know time is finite and I'm struggling with some of these things. For me, for example, is like, okay, do I want a child? Do I not want a child?
Yes,
what
yes.
are my options?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the bad things about the 40s as I see it. What I've put is, it's you need to address it at some point, but you're struggling to address it.
Yes.
And you have to.
Yes.
And time is pushing you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think also what's annoying now that you've said that is it also feels that you're not allowed to still question in your 40s.
Yes. Like you should have known.
You should have known. What do you mean you're trying to figure out if you have kids?
God,
It's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. But people look at you like you're crazy. Like, what is wrong with you?
Do you know, sometimes I ask ourselves, like sometimes we see it, we are laughing, all of us as a group. I ask myself, who made us adults? Because
I don't know. They should take it back. They really should.
I don't think we should be adults anymore.
No, it's, there's a lot. Yeah, sometimes, so I think I fully agree with you there. There's certain things that it's just, I really want to discuss with like my mom or with, but then, or in certain forums, but you just keep it to yourself because it's like, man, people will think, you how old are you again? And you're still
you at your big age, you still haven't figured it out.
Oh, I actually think I had a relative who told me, because I think once my dama said, I'm still considering whether I want kids and still trying to figure this out. And they told me, you have the child first, then you'll figure it out. I said, I don't know if it works. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if it works that way, but yes.
Let's get to, I think you had talked about the physical part about
then there's DJ, do you have any self-expectation stuff?
No. I'm just none whatsoever.
I think we should have a motto.
I'm actually getting ideas from you guys.
We're giving you societal pressure.
Yeah. And the grown-up thing, no one. Someone woke up and said, "Look, you're an adult now." I was like, "Oh, okay."
All right. I guess we are.
What do adults do, by the way?
Who knows? Because clearly it's not this.
No, actually, when I see our friends, like we have friends who've had babies, and we have the kid running around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we are actually adults. My sister has kids, and I'm like, gosh, we are really adults.
Yes. Actually, my sister-in-law with this exact same age. She has 4 kids.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And that's like, all right. Yeah, but
the
negative.
physical part of
Now there's the bad that comes with just the physical part of things. As you have seen, since the beginning of this podcast has transitioned from I was a well human being to I woke up with a backache to then this and to this is now, I think I'm starting to get, this is a reality of your body is just not the same. I know we present, I've been seeing this thing online that millennials, look younger than, we can present skin wise or look wise, we can present younger, but I can promise you internally, the machines are not moving the way machines used to move. They're really not. And that presents in many ways. And you've seen many memes online around the hangovers.
Oh, yeah.
My alcohol intake, if there's a graph, it is what is the opposite of a hockey stick? It's just this way.
It's a big drop.
Huge drop. It's not like it was slowly tapering. Like I could handle 4 drinks, then 3 drinks. It was like I could handle 6 drinks, and then one day I had just 1 drink, and the next day I'm like, what happened last night? Your body, like, just, you see it in like alcohol intake. You have to drastically increase your water intake.
Actually, that's true. And sleep more. You have to sleep. Yes.
Like that whole thing, you have to really, the minimum of 7 hours, you really have to sleep. You really understand the whole concept of your body repairs in your sleep.
Yes.
3 hours, or even if I sleep less by an hour, changes my entire day.
Yeah. And you have more brain fog, which is another thing that comes with hormonal changes, especially for women.
Yes.
Sleep and hormonal changes will make you forget even your own name.
Yeah, the brain fog is real. And this is not just even women. Let me call out DJ. Someday DJ asked me, what did you hear somebody's tiny desk? But he said, have you watched so-and-so's little table? I'm like, what? He's like, no, he sang really well. And I was like, you mean the tiny desk? He's like, yeah, that's what I said. No, that's not what you said.
If you listen to this phrase, it's actually not wrong. It's just the wrong phrase.
Wrong. I was like, oh, yeah, that Fortities is knocking on the door.
Yes.
Yeah, but then again, yes, I think there's a day I don't know what conversation we were having.
Yeah.
But you could see us literally, at some point we paused the conversation to try and figure out what's that word for that thing.
Yes.
And we were there for 5 minutes just being, what's that word?
We know it.
We know that word.
There somewhere.
I see it here, but it's just not moving into your line of vision.
Yes.
That has become a much more, I don't know, it's scary.
It is actually, and I just have to add one point here where I have struggled with brain fog for a while, to a point where even doing this podcast, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't forget certain words, because I'm like, gosh, if I forget that word, I'm trying to put sentences together. And that is if I've not slept well, or it depends with how my hormones are for that day.
Oh, also, you said hormones. We'll talk about how our bodies and women's health is extreme sport. But I don't think I have been much as aware as I am now of just my cycle.
Yes.
And how truly we only have 1 week as women to be functioning without just to be.
Yeah.
Just to be like,
to be normal.
Yeah, just to be normal. Because if you're not on your period, you're PMSing, which for me, for some reason, has become super extreme.
Yes.
And then you're ovulating. And then it's just like, I'm like, why?
There are 4 phases.
Why?
There are 4 phases of the cycle. And I saw like there's a lot of research done now, actually. And there are a lot more content. There's a lot more content created about, I don't know, the ovulation, the luteal phase. All those phases. And actually, the things that you can do in those phases to maximize yourself, to be, and what you can even eat. Like some of these things didn't exist a while ago, but thank God for this now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing I'm so glad for the internet, is just having just more awareness about just even your body.
Yes.
And it's shocking again that at this age you're discovering new things about your body, and it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And so I said the hormonal changes, which leads to perimenopause.
Yes.
And interestingly, now that I'm trying to read more about perimenopause, we are like living in the age where they're also finding out more about perimenopause. So the day when they find out something, they're like, oh, turns out, and you're like, oh, is that me? Or is that not me? Is that, I don't even think I had perimenopause as a phrase before.
Yes.
It was you live your life,
and then there's menopause.
So there's nobody and explained that, no, turns out perimenopause. And now again, because of lifestyle, habits, etc., kids kicking in younger and younger.
Yes. For people who don't know about perimenopause, because I did a little bit of research about it, is by the time you're 35, your body already starts going through perimenopause.
Oh boy. Okay.
So before you hit menopause, you probably have a good 10 to 15 years where you've gone through all these changes within your body, where some things you can't even tell because they look like everyday things. Like, for example, brain fog, you wouldn't understand that it's actually a perimenopause issue.
Yeah.
Insomnia, like not being able to sleep.
And for the longest time, we thought the brain fog thing was a post-COVID thing.
Yes.
We were like, we've had COVID. Maybe this is long COVID. Nope.
And
It's
for
not that
somebody who's always been so witty, like you've
Yeah.
always had things at your fingertip,
Yeah.
like you never thought about conversations a minute before they happen.
Yeah.
Now you have to plan around conversations
know.
and words. Yeah.
It's annoying where you're trying to crack a joke and then halfway you're like, what was that? What again?
What was that? What was that? What was
Fucking
that?
annoying.
And kudos to us for doing the podcast because we are fighting the brain
We're
fog.
fighting it. This is ways we're keeping our brains active.
Actually, that's
this is our outlet.
Yeah.
All right. So now we go into the good.
The
The
good. We kept the best for last.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, actually, before DJ, have you noticed any changes?
As I'm
Or-
a DJ, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are times when, sometimes, especially when you play in the same place all the time,
Yeah.
you know the layout of, there's a group of 6 songs that go really well together. Sometimes I forget 2 of the songs. And I've been doing a similar set
Yes.
for the past 10 years
Yeah.
with these 3 songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I just totally forget. I just blank. And then now I've started making crates. So
What
where
is a
I
crate?
put where I put the songs individually and they're numbered. So and I never needed to do this.
so
But
now
that
you-
limits your creativity because you're just playing the same songs all the time now
Yeah.
because you've got them in the line. Now normally I used to be able to just, do you know what would go well with this? Don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Oh, it's cut
So
out.
now I'm using the AI suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where you type in a song and its beat rate, and then AI will give you some options of what can. And I don't know if that could count as.
I think it's part of aging because you've mentioned that. I've remembered a friend of mine who was a bit older when I was a bit younger. And they told me something that stuck with me, which was they would go into a room to pick something, then they forget why they went there. So they started going with a piece of
Yeah.
paper.
Oh, no.
Yes. Because they're like, if I have 2 or 3 things
No,
to
it's
do,
not that bad. It's not that
it
bad.
gets there.
It does.
It gets there.
Yeah.
So because they have a full day, they're like a director in a company.
Yeah.
So they have a full day of doing things up in there. They have workers and colleagues, So sometimes they would go to a meeting room
Yeah.
and they had to pass by somewhere else. But because their brain was super focused on one thing, they forget the things
Everything
along
else
the way.
is- yeah.
So they have to write down, like if I go and see the accountant, I need to ask them this. If I go see the HR person, I need to ask them this. But and they're like,
Wow.
that's... You don't remember? They're like, yeah,
Maybe
it
I'll
comes
do
with
that.
age.
I'll start finding sticky notes in my house just to remind myself.
Yeah.
All right. So the good. The good.
The good. Ah, yes.
Or one that I think that I found is I relate so much more with my parents now at this age.
Yes.
I think prior to this, there's a lot of things you hold on to that I found myself holding on to in terms of, this could have gone better, or this happened, or blah, blah, blah. And then over the last year, for some reason, there's a lot more, something will pop up in my mind. And then I think to myself, man, at this age, my parents had 4 kids already. They were just in the thick of life.
Yeah.
And even now at 40, you'll be like, let's go for dinner. Okay, where? Takes us an hour to figure out where to go eat.
Yeah.
Versus that is probably my biggest, that in a day, that's what we've like, let's research this place. What kind of food do we want?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking at this age, they were making decisions about, okay, where are these kids going to go to school?
Yeah.
What are we, like major life things that are going to shape the lives of 4 kids?
Yes.
And I always say, the way you asked, who made us adults? We found ourselves here.
Yeah.
So for them, same thing. You're just making it up as you go.
As you go,
Right
yeah.
now, that's what I'm learning. I'm just making it up as I go.
Yeah.
And they were doing that with 4 kids at the age I'm at.
Yeah.
Has made me view them totally differently.
Yeah.
So things that I found myself either angry about, I have more empathy for it.
Don't you think they threw themselves into situations and then figured it out as they went? Because I think that's what happened. Where someone gets pregnant,
Yeah.
and then you have to raise this person. It's not just going to happen by mistake.
Yeah.
That pushes your mind to another level of grown-upness, of understanding and pushing on. So there are these things, we are worrying about things at our level of understanding. They are, as you grow older, as things happen to you in life, right?
You just take it as it goes.
You take it as it goes.
Yeah.
There's no one who wakes up and says, right, I've got this plan here. I'm going to do this and do that. Everyone is just winging it.
Yeah.
And they will see once we get there.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
But again, I think I empathize with that more. I think I used to be much harder on them previously, in terms of thinking, oh, this decision could have been done differently, or disciplining could have looked a different way, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to like think that and realize it's not that they had a manual and everything was lined up and and it was they were just
They were
they're
working with what they had.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is okay as well, you know.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Anyone who tells you, "Oh, we had a plan, and then we came up with this plan," and but no plans don't ever work out the way you want them to.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to have wiggle room for
It
adjusting.
depends, I guess.
Yeah. It depends, I guess, actually. That's true. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Do you have one, or do I pick another one?
I can go to one that I was thinking about, and I think we discussed it at some point where there is more self-growth at this age where I am kinder to myself.
Oh, yes.
My internal monologue has actually changed.
Yes. Yes.
There is an aspect of actually learning as you go and working with what you have that has sort of shifted to, I'm not pushing myself too hard, first of all, with what the society expects of me. So I sort of sit back and be like, okay, this is too hard. Do I really want to do it? So I'm questioning more. And I'm also being very cautious with what I tell myself as who I am. And I felt that this is not something I had in my 20s, my 30s. And I'm more relaxed, actually.
Yes.
I'm more relaxed.
Yes. I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
The monologue, as you're saying, the internal monologue is much more forgiving.
Yes.
It's much more less extreme.
Yes.
And in my case, I guess, used to be very extreme.
Yeah.
It could be a slight mistake and immediately you're like, why are you so stupid?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And now you can be like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was a fuck up. But all right,
Yeah.
cool. Now we know
Yeah.
how to move next time, or how to, so I think, and that roundedness of how I approach myself is definitely something that I don't know if I was intentional, just because I was being intentional, or part of it came with, I think I also had a moment of realization, maybe in past year or two, whereby I had a moment to look back at my life and think, oh, what would my 20-year-old self seeing me where I am at now?
Yeah.
What would they say? And the one thing that came to my mind was, things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
See how you were being so hard on yourself and blah. Like, things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I think once I realized that, I started treating myself that way and telling myself things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be so neurotic all the time.
Yeah. There's an example, somebody, I think it was a therapist who I was seeing, who mentioned, like, imagine the conversation you have with your friend. If your friend messes up, you don't tell them, oh, you're so stupid, look at you could have done better.
Yeah.
But why do we feel we have to do that to
That's
ourselves?
true. Yeah.
And I think that for me is what switched. And I was like, if I cannot tell these things to a friend of mine, if I cannot say outwardly those things, why do I feel that it's okay to
Even
justify
to a
myself
stranger.
more? Oh yeah, even to a stranger.
Even to a stranger.
Yeah. If they fell down, you not be like, oh, look at you.
Like, why?
Can't even walk straight.
Can't even walk straight. Oh, it's your problem. That's true. Yeah, even to a stranger. Yeah, that is definitely very different.
I'm loving this stage of being kinder.
It is. And even on the self-growth part that you mentioned, to add on to that, I I think because I love myself differently and I'm kinder to myself, I find that I love people differently.
Yes.
So in relationships, for example, I'm much more, I don't know, I practice the whole element of when you meet someone and you're with someone,
Yes.
you love them for who they are,
Yeah.
not for who you think they should become.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I never noticed this, but at some point I started picking up on it, whereby, yes, you say you love someone and it's like, oh, I've met you this way, I think you're really dope, whatever. Then you start noticing that you start saying things, etc. But if you really look at what you're saying, you're trying to like kind of mold and redirect.
Yes.
And I started picking up on certain behaviors I had that would do that. And then I realized part of it is I was also very critical of myself.
Yes.
So once I started being nicer and kinder to myself and less critical of myself, it automatically changed
people.
how I also relate
Yes.
to people very close to me.
Yeah.
I no longer, I'm like, I truly love you for who you are and the way you are.
Yes.
And that also means being aware that human beings are not, we're not robots.
Yeah.
It doesn't come with perfections.
Yeah.
We all have flaws. And so it also comes with loving those flaws. And internally, it also changed me in that I stopped. And again, I go for therapy because that's a requirement for my health.
Yeah.
But I used to always sometimes leave therapy and I think to myself, man, I came in with this, the issue we're solving. I've come out, I've learned, I have 10 more issues.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's go do this 10 more issues.
Yeah.
And then now when I leave therapy, it's more of, okay, so turns out I don't deal with X, Y, Z that well. Okay, is it something that I want to deal with? I can be like, that's a flaw of mine I'm willing to live with. I don't have to change everything. Like, it's not the output of life is that you're going to be this perfect shiny thing.
Yes.
I'm like, I have flaws. And so how I love people is that, I love you as you are, and that comes with these are things that might annoy me, or I might feel this way, but I'm also aware there's things about me that probably annoy you.
Yes.
And it's like, but you're also like, that comes with being a human being.
Yeah, I think that's the key, especially when you learn the parts of you are also annoying to other people.
Yes.
And those people are not expecting.
And they're putting up with it, so you put up with theirs.
Yeah.
DJ, do you have any on self? We're calling it self-growth.
Self-growth.
The good of the Fortities.
Yes.
The good of the Fortities.
Yes.
I don't know. I think, I'm just going through it, and every time I discover that there's less that I care about. That's one of the truth. There's less that doesn't. I used to, whenever we go out and I'm like, I used to be a big time dancer, if you don't know, you guys.
Oh my God.
I used to be out
Nobody
in the club,
has ever
I used to
seen
get
this.
down.
I have never seen it.
I used to get down in the clubs.
Anybody who knows DJ, if
used
you
to-
ever have evidence,
Ask my Dublin
show it
people,
to us.
they'll
Please
tell you.
put it on the
Even,
comments.
especially
We
the
wanna
ones
hear.
in Dublin, send it to us.
Man.
We have never seen this.
Back in the day when you cranked that Soldier
Never
Boy,
seen
all
it.
that stuff, I used to be up with the dances.
Yeah.
Now, if I get to the club, I'm tired just looking at people.
Yeah.
You say that
So
you want to say the right thing. If you make it to the club,
Yeah.
because usually, and we used to be able to drink before we get to, and I think this is another negative, but anyway, I care less about showing up and being able to do the latest dances or have the latest fashion or have the newest Jordans, or I care a lot less about it now. If I've got a nice pair, that'll do me, I think that's also good. It's also liberating having that sort of freedom. You don't have the pressures of everyone else has got the latest stuff in there.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
that pressure is gone now.
Yeah. That is very true. On my list, I was like, I give a fuck about less.
Less stuff. Yeah. But the liberating part of all this is that even the things that are assumed to be for a certain age set, they don't necessarily have to be.
Yeah.
Like if I woke up today and I also want to learn the latest piano dance,
do
you
it.
can,
there's the reverse of it. It's more liberating. I'm like, I don't care if I do it well, if I don't do it well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's and I even wrote here, and then also that I have clarity about certain things, about things in life, but the clarity is I am more clear on the things I just don't care about.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in life, people are like, oh, what you should have clarity about is where you're going and where. No, sometimes it's great to know where you don't want to go.
Yeah.
So for me, the things that I just don't, it's so clear. The things that people will be like, oh, let's go do this. And I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
Because I just know, turns out I don't really care about the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you all to go, and I don't need to be a part of everything either.
Yeah.
I don't have to be a part of all this. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't like that thing. You guys have fun.
I had an incident like that. Recently, I met some other Africans in Zurich here, and then they were like, yo, so are you going to Afro Nation? I was like, yo. I was like, yo, that's when I noticed, nah, that's not for me.
That's
not for me. It's not, I love the music.
Yeah.
I would go there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But only on a massively VIP experience.
Yeah.
Wait,
you know,
you
don't want
David
to struggle with
is
the
doing
people.
a private performance for you.
Yeah, like I need to be right next
backstage.
So I need to have easy access to the toilets. This is another thing.
yes.
Easy access
And
to the
seats.
toilets. Easy access to the bar. No mud. I hate mud. If I want to go to my car and pick up something, I'd like it to be close as well.
Yes.
The hotel shouldn't be far.
Yes.
It should be close.
Minimal commute distance.
Yes.
Just
And no scuffles. I don't like people
Pushing and
too
shoving.
energetic. Wow.
Yes.
Listen, let's enjoy the moment.
Yes.
But no, that's not the type of place. I understand that demographic is not for me.
Yeah.
It's I've passed that period. We had a good time.
Yeah.
I think we're in a different chapter of our lives.
But can I say all this also, it depends, because now I'm at the reverse.
You want to be in the mosh pit.
I want to be in there because I didn't do these things when I was young.
I see. Yeah.
I was busy being what society had told me. And now I find joy in actually coming to this space with, I want to go there. I want the energy of the people. But yes, I want the small little things like, VVIP access. I don't want to hassle with people. And the same thing, like I like going to a good club,
Yeah.
But now even when we go to a club, we can show up, pay whatever entrance fee is, but leave after 10, 30
we'll
minutes.
be like, it's too full. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
I can feel someone's sweat. Yeah, let's go home.
It's like, it looks like it's only teenagers in this club.
Yeah, well,
then you bounce. Or if we go, we get a VIP table.
Yeah.
We get a table.
Yeah.
So the reverse of like having not enjoyed those things and now wanting to enjoy them, that's another good thing is like I have the economic aspect of being able to enjoy life at a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's a privilege that we have. So
Yes,
it's
so
also
that's a
different for different
privilege.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, and back in the day, we used to look at people and say, why would you pay that kind of money to just go and sit in the corner there with your quiet drinks?
Now we're
next
the
to
people sitting
Now
in the
we're
corner.
the people sitting in the corner with your quiet drink.
Quiet, looking
And
judging.
then when you hear a good song, you just raise your hand.
just like,
and then you sit your ass back down.
Or you dance with just your shoulders and your head.
Shoulder dancing. Yeah. No, yeah. And I think also you don't care.
Yes.
And I think also the thing you said earlier about if you having to. No, here's a brain fog happening.
Yes.
I'll describe it. But then you have the freedom of still experiencing the things, no judgment, right? So even as you're saying, there's the things that you want to experience because you didn't experience younger.
Yes.
You have the freedom of, you know what? Yeah, I might show up and everyone is 18 and it's just me. But you know what? I still want to experience it.
Yes.
And I'm going to experience it the way I want to experience it. I think that also it comes with that freedom. Because I think ironically in my 30s, I was much more conscious of the things I wouldn't do because I'd say, I'm too old for that. At this age, I should not be doing that.
Yes.
Or I'm in my 30s, I should not be. I had much more of those. The things that I would be more conscious of.
Yes.
Should I go? I'm in my 30s. I should be doing these kind of things.
Yeah.
Versus now, Yeah.
It's like
We'll be like, we'll know the club might have 18-year-olds, but we want to go listen to
you like the
Afrobeat,
DJ,
so we'll go.
you enjoy the music, you want the energy.
Yeah. So it's okay. We'll go. Let them judge us, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Because I really want to go out and I really want to listen to African music.
Yeah.
So that's I think that also comes with it. And you said the monetary aspects.
Yes.
Again, we come with the privilege of we've had fulfilling careers and fulfilling jobs that has afforded us the ability to explore the things that you want to explore. And those are things that previously you may not have had the access to. Either for... Actually, interestingly, sometimes you could have had the access monetarily, but you also had a lot of the societal part.
Yes, the societal
There's guilt about... oh, should I be spending this amount of money on this thing? This money can build a school. It can feed a village. It can... I think now it's more of, I love experiences. And I'm going to go experience this thing, and guilt be damned. If a village needs to be built, we'll try and do that too.
You
but
mentioned
guilt be damned.
The monetary aspects of it. I remember in my 30s, I used to measure everything I spent by a bag of cement.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
How many bags of cement is that bottle of perfume? Or how many bags of cement?
When you go to the club and then you're ordering, get 3 bottles of Moe.
And you're popping them and you're like, gosh,
I could have built a house.
I could have built the foundation, The walls would be up by now.
But you can do both now.
You really can. Yes.
Because I think people always take away and think that, you're just spending money and it's a waste. And especially if you don't have access to that kind of financial freedom. And you think to yourself that, but it's also feeding something else, your mind.
That's
it's
true.
Also your mind, your soul,
your
spirit.
Your soul,
If you feel nice doing something, or if you get a nice pair of shoes, or if you get a nice handbag or something, when you put it on, you've worked for these things and you feel good wearing them. It's not for anyone else, but it feeds your mind.
It feeds you.
Yes, it really is for you.
It's important as well.
That's
it's just as important as you building to help someone else.
Yeah.
I think that's where people get caught up in, I have to get this done. No, you don't have to do a damn thing.
Yeah. The societal expectations.
And also, if that designer bag is not for you, it's okay. Find what's for you and splurge on yourself in the thing that feeds you.
Yes.
You don't have to give in to the trends or what. Just do you.
And also, if it is for you, if you like that designer,
do it and be unapologetic. You don't have to explain to people why this means. You don't have to explain it.
Like Prince, for example. We've got a friend of mine, DJ Prince. I always feel that we helped him move the other time, and I felt like he had a lot of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, does a person need all this stuff? And then I thought to myself, this feeds him in a way. He's happy when he sees it. He doesn't work hard to be miserable. He works hard to be happy.
That's true.
That's everyone is in search of that happiness. Those things satisfy something within him. And I was like,
and he's so proud of them. That's the thing. 100%. He's so proud, which you can see. This is something that feeds him. He loves collecting like vintage, like he's
got a vintage car downstairs, parked, doesn't move it. He drives the other car.
He's very proud of it, and he'll show you. He'll be like, "Oh, sit in the car, look at the car, look at the." For someone else, it'd be like,
man,
if you don't drive it, what's the purpose? No, if it doesn't make sense to you, it feeds the other person, it feeds them. There's something else that feeds you that somebody else is thinking, what the hell?
That's true.
Okay.
So let me give a final one that I am that I think is one of the massive privileges of being 40s. And I borrowed this from my brother, is the body confidence.
Ooh,
I have had, I'm probably the biggest I have been in life, or who knows, who cares? Is by far none I've ever experienced. And I say I borrowed from my brother because previously I was the kind of person who would be like, all right, I need to go to the gym and find a personal trainer because summer is coming. Summer body. My brother's philosophy is summer body is the body the summer finds me in. It is summer that molds to me. I don't mold to summer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's true. He just, would go on holiday. He just shows up on the beach. He does not.
Everything.
He does not care. There you're thinking, which is the bathing suit that's going to hide my stomach, but also highlight my breast, but also hide my butt, but also make my thighs look small. Girl, nobody cares. Really, nobody cares.
Checking.
And yes, and now, like in my 40s, let me tell you, the number of crop tops I have bought that is going to be crop top belly, then the rest can't just the body confidence.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think maybe that also leads to, I think it's made me enjoy sex so much more because you're just also like, I don't know, you're just
your body.
Yeah. And you're just, I think maybe also I'm so appreciative when I wake up and I'm like, my rib is not aching. I'm so thankful for you.
Yes. I actually
you're so much more thankful.
I actually say thanks when I'm like, I'm grateful today. My body did not ache. When I'm going to sleep, means when I'm going to sleep, I had a perfect day. My body is fine. I'm thankful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I love that. And I wish that's one thing. If there's someone who could bottle that, that's something I would love to bottle and just sell.
Yeah.
Especially to women.
Yeah.
Because we have cared so much about our bodies, and also men have cared so much about our bodies. Yeah. Which men stay out of our damn bodies.
Yeah.
But if I could bottle that and just have people just do life. As someone once said to me, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to think to yourself, oh, I should have had that six-pack.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're going to care about experiences. You're going to care about people. And you're going to care about, did I live the life I wanted to live?
Yeah.
And trust me, this whole image of body perfection that changes all the time. Now, butts are out. We are going to skinny season. At some point, boobs were in. Next time we'll be changing our eyes. Next time height will be in, and we'll be doing height lengthening or shortening.
No lengthening, because I think that doesn't work unless you wear platforms.
There's a dude who did that. He went for
something.
Which odd, but I need to find out how his life is going. But it's just do life. Just focus on life. Just be healthy.
Yeah.
But trust me, down the line, it's going to be different.
I have a reverse of it because, as the podcast says, it depends, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. My reverse is that if you've never cared about your body before, and now you've reached 40s and this is where you're caring more about your body, it is also okay to want to have the abs. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. I would say care about your body from a health perspective.
Also from a vain perspective.
Yes, but I think my worry with the vanity is the definition of what is in and out is very fickle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very fickle.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. And now with social media, we see it really, like, it's very much in our faces, right? And to the point that a lot of fitness influencers that are out here influencing have gone to have surgery and then come back and say, this is how I grew my butt.
Yeah.
Or this is how I got abs.
Yeah.
Or this is how I got... These are... have it for yourself. But...
The influence
from society, these looks are going to change. If there's one thing that we have seen, these looks have changed from time immemorial. If you go and look at magazines from way back in the day to now, industry has always dictated what is in, what is out.
Yeah.
I would tell people, think about your body from a health perspective.
Yeah.
Make sure you feel good.
Yeah.
Make sure it doesn't impede on your life.
Yeah.
Because the people who have abs and have terrible cholesterol, or they have abs and they are borderline anorexic, like there's what you see. And also, do you know, also abs are a genetic thing.
Oh, they don't take.
There's people who have
the way in the kitchen.
They are not made in the kitchen. Sure, you can have a flat tummy, etc. But there's also a lot of things that people don't tell you. Is a lot of things, your genetics play a big factor also on how your fitness journey, etc., how it will look at the end. It all depends on your genetics.
So why I'm saying this, and I'm sort of looking at it this way, from a health perspective, it makes sense that you should care more for your body
Yeah.
from a health
Yes.
perspective.
And in the 40s.
And in the
it will
40s.
really show up, yes.
Yes. But also don't forget, like I will speak for myself. I grew up a certain body size. I was never too happy with it. Yeah. I grew up trying to diet and everything. But now I've reached a place where I'm like, I have access to actually make changes to the body the way I want it. It's not what was influenced for me. It's over 20 years I've tried to do these things. Like I want to do something about my arms. It's not plastic surgery, but if I have access to plastic surgery, I still would do it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is in your 40s, if you feel your body, you want to change it in a certain way. Yes, for the health perspective,
Yeah.
but also if you feel you want to change it because you want slimmer arms. Like if I wanted slimmer arms, like I go get an arm job done, or I exercise more, or I lift weights just to get the tone.
Yeah.
It is still also okay
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, love your body,
Yeah.
love your life,
Love your body.
go through your phases. I think something you said earlier that is true.
Yeah.
That the things, go through the seasons that if you're in a season and you feel that you want to explore something, go through it.
Yes.
Because the one thing also about life is you can't skip things. They catch up with you. If you need to be in the streets, be in the streets. Because it will catch up with you at some point.
Yes.
So just go through the phases where you're at.
Yeah.
If you're in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever it is, live experiences in you're in.
Yes.
Don't hold yourself back because of certain things that, I'm in my 30s, I should not be. Or I'm in my 40s, I should not be.
Yeah.
Or I'm in my this, I should not be. Just do whatever. There's a reason why that season is showing up in your life.
Yeah.
Go through the season.
Yeah.
Enjoy it for what it is. Again, we have the privilege of we've had an okay life. It has had ups and downs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the ups and downs one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go through the season you're in.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. Go through it and enjoy it the best way you can.
Yeah, and that's why it sits with you when you don't address it, or if you keep hiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, and hopefully you come back. Like, subscribe.
We hope to see you again, and thanks for all your feedback and your comments and follow-ups on our socials at iDig Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Yay.